Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so this reading is going to be for Destiny Path 5. Okay, Destiny Path 5. Destiny path is not like your life path, okay? The two do intertwine. However, your destiny path can change because it's based off of your name, all right? So, the way you calculate your destiny path number is you take all of the letters of your name and you write them out, okay? And then you write the numbers 1 through 9 across the top of the page and you associate each letter of the alphabet with a number, okay, up to the number 9. So 1 would be A, 2 would be B, 3 would be C, and so on and so forth, all right, until you've gone through all of the letters of the alphabet, all right, okay. So, Destiny Path 5. How you guys doing? What we're going to do is we're going to see exactly where you are, see exactly what we could get into, and then we'll get some love messages at the end. All right. Two being for some, this is going to be talking about planting two seeds simultaneously over the course of 2 years. I am this moon portion is really calling to me, which would tell me that you may be more so nocturnal according to your destiny, not necessarily your life path, but according to your destiny. Being out at night, is giving it whole by night one way, by day another type situation. Or work hard, play hard. Right? If you work hard, you're supposed to play hard. Okay. We also got this death, and we have the Pisces. Okay, so some of this that is given is the ending of an apology or apologizing, and then Pisces. Some of this is also given the transformation that comes into place with wisdom or with presenting a cup via spirit versus in real life, and having the spirit in one hand while the intimacy, apology, presentation of love, however that comes into place, is in a completely different one, right? It's given right now is given a whole balancing act that'll come into place with Scorpio essence, right? And how it is one would transform over the course of 2 years. And the other thing, Destiny Path 5 that I'm seeing is the 2 year axis that would have came into place with the Scorpio. The Taurus Scorpion axis is definitely what this is giving, and the wisdom that would have been associated with not coming in with an offer, not riding in with an offer, and the whole Dark Night of the Soul situation that would have come into place with one being protected and being guided to in a particular type of inspiration, the feeling of the inspiration. Okay, so Destiny Path 5, right? The major thing that would come into place with you as a destiny would be that you would be changing things, shifting, changing, transforming. What constitutes as the dark night of the soul, and realistically, all the dark night of the soul is what it is that people don't see. And a lot of people, yeah, in today's media time, oh my God, it's hellish because it's a lot that people don't see. And part of that is because it can be an information overload. And we've moved from hard hard copies, hard paper. Yep. We've moved away and shifted from like paper, things that you could touch and feel. Because Scorpio essence definitely deals a lot with the sensuality that'll come into place. And then there being one walking in with an offer and what it is to come in with the offer, but not necessarily riding with one. And it not and the night being about money. Now, because the song that's kind of coming to me is the whole if it ain't about the money in regards to what goes on with one with the whole dark night of the soul, and then there being an incomplete cycle, and there being acceptance and one not being recognized in a manipulation. That's part of it. The other portion of this is in a spiritual aspect, you need to pay attention to what deaths it was that came into place, as well as what who it was that would have passed away that would have been nurturing. That's given the whole mother aspect and the whole aspect mother maiden crone type situation. What it is, and if you a feeling sign, you definitely got to pay attention to that. In the alchemical aspect, it'll be about opposed to the riding with an offer to complete the cycle and reject the identification as one being nurturing. And what healthy inspiration is in the alchemical portion. You need to pay attention to what you constitute as alchemy too. Life path 5. Because with you shifting and changing so much, alchemy is always going to look different for you. It's pretty much what this is giving. And with this whole Scorpio, pay attention to what happened with Pluto and with Pluto. Okay, so in this Pluto aspect, that'll be speaking to a whole generation of people who have Pluto and Pisces. And how one will have to juggle. I don't like saying juggle for this, but but balance, right, in their thoughts. How one will have to balance a person who will be alive versus a person, an ex or a karmic, long distance community, someone across seas. It's given. I was just gonna say it's given shipment. It's given shipment, and then there being this new beginning and this courtship, and then there being this message of imprisonment with the main male and at the courthouse, and then there being this theft along one's path of the sudden wealth and unexpected income, and there being bad health. Okay, Life Path 5, this is the whole situation that comes into place with shifting, changing, and all this other stuff, right? Yeah, because some of it is giving that money would make a person sick. The other portion of it is when you would have been dating and you would have had a kid, and then there would have been no, because it would have been a message that would have went to somebody who would have been locked up, and that would have been the person. Oh my goodness, what am I getting into? Destiny Path 5. If this is where you were looking at in your destiny, okay, I'm going to use this at the highest vibration as there being a message of a person being locked in. And in the slang terminology of when a person is locked in, they're on the same wavelength, they on the same pattern. Have mercy. That's how I want to take this. If it's the other way, that's a lot to deal with in the willpower. Right? Do some solar plexus chakra healing, Destiny Path 5. Cause in the way you shift and changing things, right? The main male, how it is that somebody that main male would have been in the courthouse is giving some judge, because these two kind of look alike, the judges. It must be a Bible verse in the judges too. We gonna see what it say when these hard cards come out, because along this destiny path, for real, the me doing the destiny path readings, the hard cards have been saying exactly what it is that I'm saying, but you gotta put it to the right person. And be mindful that some of these is names too, but the courthouse thief, and then there being a pathway to sudden wealth and unexpected income. And sure, how a person would have been made sick because of the path it is that they would have chosen or they would have taken. This is giving good idea, bad idea. Destiny Path 5. So in that regard, it didn't show up as weighing your options, but always say this, Destiny Path 5, if you don't make a decision, one will be made for you. Typically, this happens a lot if it gives you some inclination, Destiny Path 5, with other life paths that are prime numbers because it's that one odd thing, quote unquote, odd thing out, odd number out, okay, that doesn't have its mate. But that's important for you to pay attention to because you see what you need to add to yourself, okay, in regards to clearing out the reciprocation, there being reciprocation in one's willpower on a humanitarian scale at the base of the humanitarian scale. Mm. And it's given like the whole growth, a growth. I was going to say growth and development, but the growth, prepubescent growth. Pay attention to how was you grew up. Within one not communicating, the recognition. What it is that they would have recognized about being fruitful, being a mother, being an empress. And with Venus, oh, you weren't paying attention to Venus. Don't tell me you was only paying attention to the sexual aspect. Come on, Destiny Path 5. You got to do better than that. Especially with one's fortune being in the reverse and it not being your season. What goes on when you out of season? Okay, I'm gonna say this. When you're talking about any because right now we're in the Virgo Pisces axis, right? So real shit, if you look at it at that, it's always your season, which means you don't have to wait till like if you one of them people who really productive around your birthday, don't wait until you really productive around your birthday. You can always be really, really productive. If you get what I'm saying, like you can knock out a whole bunch of shit real quick. Especially when you're dealing with this whole Dark Night of the Soul shit. You can knock out so much shit so fast and you'll get it all done and figured out over the course of the 2 years because everybody already focusing on whatever it is you got going on. It doesn't matter if you're a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. The same thing happened with the Taurus Scorpion axis. It didn't matter if you were a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or a Cancer, Pisces, or Taurus. You would have gotten some sort of boost and inclination of what it is that you would have needed to fix in regards to who you would have needed to apologize to, who would have constituted as manipulative. And if you're a teacher, you know that it'll be talking about like different little blocks and stuff that you use to that you use to count things and things that you just finagle and finesse and you use your motor senses for. There you go. But you would have got inclinations about that then. Okay. Now I don't see necessarily over 2 years, but if you're 2 years in, you're in Scorpio essence, right? Uh, the apologies it is that you would have made during that Dark Night of the Soul, or you need to make during the Dark Night of the Soul, and you haven't communicated them, those gonna be what you need to focus on. You would have known about that over about 2-4 years ago. So over the course of these next 2 years, take care of that. Just knock it out, and then you don't have to deal with it no more. Life Path 5. Hey, I'm big on not having to do shit on repeat. And that's how you quote unquote dead the situation. You say what you gotta say and you move. But you gotta figure out what it is you really need to say, Destiny Path 5. Okay? So within there being movement and the wish fulfillment of one not trying to win at all costs and then there not being disappointment. And then there being one not discussing things, one not discussing it, one not talking. And there being rejection. Okay, something that I'm getting from it, and there being a third party situation or the celebration. Rejection is God's protection. It's definitely something that I would say in regards to that. But the other portion of this is if you're dealing with some third party situations and asking for assistance, if you're talking about for business, on the business aspect, that's one thing. But on the personal aspect, that's something completely different. And realistically, your business flows based out of how well it is you build connections even in celebration. In short, you don't ever really get a chance, or you should pay attention just as much when you're celebrating Life Path 5 as you would, or not Life Path 5, I apologize, Destiny Path 5, as you would when you're not celebrating. So even if you work hard, play hard, you still pay attention to the different situations that's going on around you, regardless of if you're getting a paycheck or not, because that determines whether you're going to get a paycheck or not. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, right? And then there not being a strategy, there not being a strategy. Some of this other stuff that I'm getting from this is pay attention to names, because uh, if you know what the person's name means, it'll make it easier for you to depict some of this stuff it is that I'm talking about too, and it'll pinpoint it more and what it is to reject indecision. In short, to help you make your mind up. Well, Destiny Path, yeah, because Destiny Path 5, that means you would be moving around a whole lot. And that's just a part of your destiny. How well do you know how to anchor yourself and set stuff up? It's given military in the military aspect. Because in the military aspect, you have different stations that you would go to. Army brats is kind of what that's giving. The swan, this swan has been coming up so much, baby. Transformation, trusting the psychic gifts, and what it is for you to be wise in trusting your psychic gifts. Especially if you have like a life path. If you have like a life path that's an 11, a 22, or 33, you're going to have to trust in that in order for you to know where you to go. Versus if you have a life path that's 9 and under. Okay? All right. So, cleaning house, releasing emotional damage. Laugh like Fab Five. It makes it easier. It will. But cleaning house and releasing emotional baggage, resurrection, surrender to the change, and optimism and aggression. Okay, so one of the things I do want to say about this last card, optimism and aggression, is false positivity. You gotta be weary of false positivity. That is something that could come into place. Right now, the other thing is that this is really kind of given is that the only way a person will have good health or will have sudden income is if they're sick. Meaning, one of the things that is really coming to me right now in regards to this is like if you get the little there have been a lot of incentives on the medical aspect, right, for people to go to the doctor and all this other stuff. But the reality is, if they would have already just given the money to the people, there wouldn't be a need for the doctor, or if they wouldn't have done the inflation and all the other stuff. I'm not going into that. I'm not going to go into that. Destiny Path 5, you are not going to pull me down there, or not pull me down there, but pull me into that conversation. We just finna finish this reading with your heart cards. How about that? Acceptance is the key to inner peace. At times, you must accept things as they are. Yep, there's no point trying to change that which is beyond our control. So if it's something that would have gone on in the past, it's nothing that you could do about the past. What do you do to make the future better? And in regards to making the future better, you have to pay attention to what led you to that particular point of the future. Okay? Especially if there was some emotional manipulations, because not everybody is gonna want to deal with that shit. So very serious. Destiny Path 5, whether it's you or the other person. It is important right now to take a step back and spend some time alone instead of placing your focus on another. Now's the time to give to yourself. Close your eyes and tell yourself that you deserve to feel joyful. Pay attention. Okay, this one right here, this is going to be a little bit further extension of that last part where I was talking about the manipulations portion. So close your eyes and tell yourself that you deserve to feel joyful. What do you see when you feel joyful? Okay, not happy. Happiness is fleeting. Joy is something that no matter what, nobody can take it away from you. It's like your happy place. Okay, if you ever heard about Peter Pan with this whole child portion and growing up and being a man and all this other stuff, his happy place when he was younger was with Tinkerbell, right, rescuing him. But as he got older, his happy place was with his children being born. Okay, that was then his joy. In short, your joy is supposed to shift and change and grow. Okay, Destiny Path 5, that's okay for that to happen too with or for you. You don't, yeah, it don't have to always be the same thing. And then last but not least, in this, you can allow joy into your life. And there that word joy go again. So, and my nose is itching. Just saying. You can you can allow joy into your life regardless of the circumstances you currently find yourself in. That's what I mean by joy is different than happiness. Happiness is fleeting. Everybody is always in the pursuit of happiness, right? But joy is something that you can acquire and you can obtain and you can maintain, okay, that leads to further happiness. The other thing that's coming into place with this Life Path 5 on the journey of love is giving the card for a moment, choose joy. So, in that regard, what is your joy? Right? Only for a second. You don't have to do it forever in the bank. Just, just, just for a minute. All right? Just a minute. Okay. So hopefully it helps you guys out just a little bit. Gave you a tad bit of an inclination as to a few different things it is that will be going on. If you like to schedule your own personal touch of clarity, you are more than welcome to do so at Lightwork and Lightwork LLC at gmail.com. Okay? All right. Because see, remember, light work, it ain't light work. It is not light work. It's not light work. And that's why you have to stay light while you work.